Hi, my name's Demara, and I'm going to be reading to you a channeled piece, which is the Truth Testament, number 11. Synchronicities, never cease to amaze me because there's only 7 out of the 42 Truth Testaments that came through during the last 12 months that I have left to read. But the number 1 was left, and that was the number they gave me this morning. And I can't believe how amazing that is when we've just gone through the 1111 portal. And isn't that just so? I mean, I've been having synchronicities I got into when I first started traveling and really going by let every day be what it's going to be without planning stuff. And that was in 1974. And having got to the sort of stage of letting go so much. I mean, I'd been working before that for a newspaper in London, and I was the classified ad manager at 25 for this group of newspapers. And when I let go, I really let go. And on this trip that I did in 74 that lasted a year, it was like synchronicities were became the norm for me. And I had to actually look up and understand that there was a word for it. And I mean, it was years and years later that I saw that coming into the mainstream, but it really became a part of the magic of my life. But it still never ceases to amaze me when something like this, 42 Truth Testaments, and they leave number 11 until it's just after the 1111 portal. It just still amazes me, and I kind of like that about myself because I don't get into like an expectation which takes away the magic, and I think that's really important. Now, just before I was finding this number 11 on my laptop, I decided to do a Starseed Oracle card, and we got the perspective one again. And this has come up. Maybe it was in one of the collective readings I did like 3 months ago. I can't remember now, but it's an amazing card because look at that. That's planet Earth from a big, big distance. And on this, it actually says, so I've drawn this for us post 1111 portal. I mean, we're actually in the 1111 portal right now, in the energies of that, in that gateway. And this perspective card says, none of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. And I'm going to just read a little bit from the explanation of this card, because these cards are pretty new to me right now. It says, take a step back and look at the bigger picture of your life. Step away from the blinkered vision and reactive frame of mind of me against them. Change your perspective. Shift your point of view and zoom out, out, out. Now, I just love that because this is how it has to be to get to the true picture. And first of all, when we're doing that, we have to be able to get in touch as much as we can, because I know that some people are only just beginning to do this, but as much as you can, to either do, a few quiet moments and to link in just to your breath or something like that, something really basic but pinpointed, and then start to think about the perspective, right? Because you have to be connected to who we really are. And that this life here now is such a small part of who we are, who we've been, and who we're going to be. Because energy doesn't change and disappear. Okay, this is the one thing to remember. We've had many past lives, most of us, and we're going on to many more experiences after this physical body gives up and dies away. So when you start to connect with that, then look at this picture of that earth, or do a visualization in your mind of taking seeing yourself on the earth and then stretching out to the limits of the town that you're living in or the city. And then take yourself out to the limits of the country that town is in. And visualize this in your mind. And then take yourself out to the limits of that country within all the other countries that border it. So you're going into a much, much bigger region, a much, much bigger perspective. And then take that out to the outer limits of what you see as the edges of our earth. And then take that out now. Expand it more and more, right to the edges of our universe. And however that comes into view. And feel the immense energy of that truth. And how your energy sits within that huge, vast expanse. And then just turn around in your mind and just see that journey back. Like it's a shining of a bright light. So you're going to travel from where that spark landed on the extremes of that universe, on the outer limits of that universe, and then just turn around, see the light going back to where you sit in your house or office, and come right back in, step by step. Come back in and back to your normal perspective as you sit in your chair. And you will get, a really different understanding of this. And then put any problems that you have right now or any things that you keep tossing around and around in your mind and see how different that seems. And that the only thing that's important is your essence, that energy that you own, that is individual to you. And it makes everything seem so petty, actually. And that all we have to think about is our essence on our journey. And our journey right now is on this earth to bring in the new earth. And everything else is irrelevant. Anything else anybody's done, not done, not admitted to, not owned up to, or anything that didn't happen in your life that you wanted to becomes irrelevant. And what you have to deal with is what essence you have of other people's energy coming in right now and how that feels. And how you see your journey in that job, in that life, in that relationship, in that experience now. And does it serve your mission? And expanding you and your consciousness and your happiness. So that was a rather long beginning, wasn't it? I wasn't planning to do that. It just shot into my mind to take us all out to beyond this universe. So, okay, let's get on with looking at a little bit. I think I'm gonna put the book away on the perspective because that could go on forever. It's such a big subject. I'm going to go on to number 11, and I really haven't looked at this, so I don't know what we're in for. The last time I looked at this was quite a few months ago. But this is the message they want us to take today. Truth Testament number 11. Many people are now giving out information for a safe survival through time experience, but many are not aligned in the right way to put forth this information from the highest point of their knowledge. They are aligning more with the physical changes and not the spiritual ones. If you align just with the physical changes, you will not survive on this plane of existence for as long as you need to. We are talking about aligning with your higher self, who was the one that sent you down here in the first place. It is the reason that you are all here. It has to be the point at which you come from in order to deal with what you are going to be presented with. We can only ask that you align with your higher selves, the one that made this choice of contract, and to honor this choice that you made so long ago. If you persuade people to make adjustments just in a physical way, then they will not be aligned with the principles of the higher frequencies which are coming into this plane of existence. We have long felt that only those who can align can be free of the fear and the consequences of this change of circumstances. And it is so. It is impossible to align with the changes unless you are first aligned with your higher consciousness. As a purely physical being, you can only adjust a certain amount because of the programming of the human mind. The human mind is what controls the human physical existence, but it is only part of the whole of you. This would not be an evolutionary moment in the history of this planet if you are all just aligned as human beings. We are asking and must ask that you bring back your alignment within your whole presence, including that of the spiritual mantle that you hold. If we are to get you to the finish point, we have to keep saying this to you all. It is not a jest, it is a contractual agreement, one that has nevertheless been so forgotten in so many. Every transmission we give is to remind you that preparing for just a physical survival will not be possible this time around. It has to be survival of your own spiritual connection to us, with us, and because of us too. What we are saying here is that there are many, many more who can survive if you survive as an evolved, reconstituted human race. This race is the one that we are rooting for. It is one that has evolved over many millennia in order to reach this spot in time and space-time alignment. It is not a physical catastrophe that you are attempting to survive, but a spiritual evolvement one. It cannot be explained in just physical terms, but must be explained within a time restraint which alters your understanding and completion of this process. In order to comprehend what we are saying, you need to stretch at least a little towards our stream of consciousness. If you stretch a little towards us, we can stretch more towards you. This will be your thread of emergency help when you require this, because once the thread is more securely connected back to us, we can commune with you when required. We will not tug at your thread. We cannot, but we can converse with you if you have this securely in place. We do not require you to do much physical preparation because as you evolve, there is not much physicality that can assist you. But as you put into place your communication thread, we will be able to contact you when you require us to do so. Make this the time of preparing your soul's reunion with its soul tribe. This has indeed become something that is spoken of, but is much more closely connected to wanting friends in a more physical sense of friendship and companionship within the bonds of your physical presence. This is required also, but so much more important is that you are able to commune with those of us that do not have that physicality. We can speak to you, abide with you, and nudge you into action if this is what is required as you journey on. We have many tools in our spiritual boxes with which to do this. Many of you speak of these curious happenings when synchronicities abound. Oh my goodness, I did not know that was coming up. Sorry, and you feel like you are touching another reality. We come to tell you, you are, but not often enough, because those threads of yours are not well enough connected yet, and it is only in extreme circumstances that you want them to be there. Do not wait for that catastrophe or that emergency situation before you repair and make those secure connections with us. On a physical level, you cannot survive without our assistance when too much too quickly is occurring for your human minds to calculate the hows and whys. It will be in the moment that we can alert you to what is required from you. Our ability to be with you is solid. It is not whimsical. It is as real as you will ever experience anything. But if your physical mind is the strongest part of you, it will not reflect this truth. This truth is bold and unspecified. There are no textbooks that can tell you how real this is, because real is not something that is present on the earth plane as a dominant factor. You have all lived in illusion too long to be able to wholly discern this state. But as you get stronger with the connection with our plane of existence, it will become your reality too. It takes practice and repetition, as does everything you learn, before it becomes an automatic related to state. It has to become that automatic related to state that not only exists, but one that you desire above all else. This prologue is one that took us many ions of time to produce because we are so aware of your limitations. The prologue is that everyone needs to acquire their admission back to the spiritual world before the end of the earth changes. I'm going to read that again. The prologue is that everyone needs to acquire their admission back to the spiritual world before the end of the earth changes. If this does not occur, then you cannot traverse the extra-dimensional realms, but will have to work with what is left after the cleansing on your planet. Everyone birthed now onto the earth plane chose this destination before they had the ability to traverse all of these dimensional regions of the cosmos, but not everyone remembers that. They are indeed anesthetized with one thing or another, some physical, some emotional, and most mental incapacity to open up. Our prologue of information is that this really is now or never within this cycle of evolution. It is not purely about your physical existence. It is your soul existence within this cycle of evolution. Ask your own soul, what am I here for? Do I need to make a decision to take back my spiritual mantle for good? Am I happy to be a part of an evolution of human history? Do this whenever you have any decision to make, because your decisions on everything now are the most important ones you will ever make. At least give yourselves, your higher selves, at least give yourselves, your higher selves, a chance to be heard. And that's the end of that piece. That's pretty powerful and direct piece again. And again, it seems to me that they set me up here, because this keeps happening now. Every time I read one, I've already done a small introduction telling you about my own experiences, because that synchronicity thing came in here really big and bold. And I have no idea what I was about to be talking about, but they did this over, I think, the last two that I've read. And I think what they're trying to do is give people an indication here of how real this is, that there are many, many people on the planet that are probably having a completely different experience than you are, and have experiences like I was saying. I experienced synchronicities for the first time, and it came in like magic. And to me, I'm trying to understand, I seem to be on a different wavelength, and that was in 1974. So this was, when I started to read about it, I was already running a Center for Intuitive Living, and the same with the Now Moment. That was quite incredible, really, when there were books that came out that made people millions, that was about the Now Moment. And I was already running workshops 35 years ago called Choose to Be Here Now, 2-day events, which were mind-blowing, not only for me, but for everybody involved, because it shot people into really big transformations to spend 2 days where it was my job to keep them somehow in the now moment. And I did it with all sorts of waking up things. I used to, when I was doing the facilitating of the workshop and talking to them about this experience that was different of being in the now moment, I used to have a little bell that I rang when I would stand back and look at the group I had in the circle and feel that there was maybe half of them that were in their heads again. And then by that sense of me knowing that half of my room of people was missing, I used to ring the bell. And I anchored this statement at the beginning of the workshop on the first day. I said to them, listen, if I feel that there's people gone from the room and they're thinking about the menu for lunch or something, I'm going to ring the bell, which means you need to repeat the awareness exercise, which I'm just remembering. I went through it last night on my podcast to see how I could load it up here on a video, and I will do that tomorrow. But I think what they're doing with me as their facilitator here when I'm reading these, because now it's becoming really funny that I'm saying, listen, I don't know about the piece I'm going to read. And then suddenly there's pieces that I've already spoken about and kind of preempted in the beginning. But it's not about me. It's not about them. It's about you guys. It's about you guys understanding this is not whimsical. I love that word they bring in. Or I've heard a lot of people use the word woo-woo. Some people that I really respected when I met them years ago, and I've seen now in their own work, I've heard them use is that woo-woo? And it's like, what is that? Really, it's like, that's going too far. I can't go there right now. They should really say that. Oh, that's really shaking up my energy, or something like that, shouldn't they? Because that's not a thing. Woo-woo isn't a thing. Advancement and evolution is a thing. And this is what we're talking about. Our ability to use our human technology and feel the magic, feel the energy, and feel the frequencies, and feel that there's so much more to us and so much more to be had and experienced. And I'm going to end there because this is becoming quite a long video. But thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing me to share this space with you on this Sunday afternoon for me. And please subscribe. And I just want to say how appreciative I am of those people who dare to press that button to show that they're subscribed to this channel, which is all about receiving information from higher beings. It's not about receiving information from this famous interviewer over there or this famous guy over there. It's about receiving information direct from higher beings. So thank you again, and please press the subscription button and please give us a thumbs up if you think you would like to do that. Thank you.